Members of City Council Mark Boscario and Chris Holt representing Scaledown. Mr. Boscario, good evening and welcome.
Good evening. Mr. Holt couldn't make it tonight, unfortunately, so I'm just going to try to keep my comments brief as well. I didn't want to come out taking a position for or against this particular rezoning or development. What we did want to do is see that it was deferred or postponed until all the information could be examined and for council to ask the right questions. That's really our position, is for council to make an informed position. One of the reports not mentioned tonight, which we think is very important, is a report from your planning department, our planning department, which is the residual market demand impact analysis study that's being done right now. And the last meeting we talked about big box development. It was that a copy of that report was requested from to be presented, and it wasn't ready yet. Well, now it's very imminent in its conclusion, and without that information, I don't believe that council can ask the right questions of the development. We at Scaledown, we propose. We want council to look at all these types of developments through a different type of questioning, where our mission is to promote Windsor's cultural identity, social fabric, and economic prosperity through open discussion. Our vision is to connect every Windsorite to their own walkable neighborhood that has its own public spaces, local independent businesses, and vibrant artists. These are not some sort of newfangled planning concepts or some kind of new age ideas. These are concepts that we want that all of your mission and vision to be in this room. I can ask some questions right here today, but I'm not capable of asking all of them. I'm not the smartest guy in the room. There's a lot more intelligent people than me that can ask better questions. When you look at cultural identity, does this development advance Windsor's cultural identity? Is there a public art component? Is there designated space for local independent businesses? Is there a stage where musicians and bands can perform to the public? For the social fabric, are there public spaces, fountains, cafe areas, vest pocket parks? Again, the small stage area. And for economic development, it always seems to be going as a position as there are benefits or there's costs, and one side is always dismissed when really we know there's going to be jobs and that created from the development, but there's also going to be costs. And one side shouldn't ignore the other. We should weigh both of those, and we want to make sure that residual market demand impact analysis study is looked at so that both all the true costs can be weighed. One of these things is the fact of reusing older buildings instead and reusing space that's already zoned commercial versus having this disposable society where we just discard these buildings like the old Walmart on Tecumseh and Lozon. There is going to be a cost. Whether that cost is too great or not, that's for you to decide. I don't claim to know that and want to make that position. I don't want to advance that. I just want the councillors to ask the right position. It might be a case of it might be right for this big box development, but not right for another one. And without that information before you, without you asking the right questions, it's too premature for you to make a decision tonight. And I mean, it sounds sort of coarse, but we look at if we're going to sell our community to these different types of development, and it might be a case of not selling out. It might be a case of, should we sell out cheaply, or should we at least demand that these developments become responsible to our community? And thank you very much.
Thank you. Members of council, questions? Councillors Habersatt and Hatfield.
Yeah, Mr. Salzer, Bill, the report mentions that the original project, the intent was similar to Devonshire Mall, but however, marketing has changed to big box retail. I guess I would ask you, we just passed a big box retail on the west side of Windsor. There's a great concentration of big boxes on Walker Road, as we know at Provincial. So is this the eastern anchor for big box that you're talking about?
Well, and we don't know right now how the site is going to develop. I mean, when the property was acquired back in the 90s, I think it was the intent of the Finellis at that time. They were looking at a Devonshire, an enclosed mall concept, but we know from the trade shows that we've attended to throughout the States and in Canada that the enclosed mall is really a thing of the past. The expenses are just too expensive. So as you've seen on Walker Road, it was really our company that bought the old drive-in theater and made the first sale to Costco. And then you saw how the area has developed. This area, it's a large site, and it can accommodate a number of a number of uses. As the east end, as our Aspen Lake develops and our Blue Heron, you're getting more housing units. There is a lot more inquiries from interested out-of-town investors now that are knocking on our door, and they're looking for land that is zoned. They don't want to buy land that is say zoned agricultural, because that may take 1, 2, 3 years to if there's an appeal on the zoning. When they make a decision they want to go, they're looking for zoned property. But there's the city undertook a 3 or 4 year planning process of the annexed lands from the town of Tecumseh, and they were the ones that designated mixed use. So we're just basically taking the next step to get it zoned to the CD 4.1 that the city has recommended.
Okay, Mr. Salzer, you mentioned that the planning department suggested that you apply for this rezoning to accommodate big box?
They did not recommend that we made the application based on the mixed use. They suggested the category that would be appropriate would be the CD 4.1 based on the uses that we had requested.
So the mixed use, how would you describe mixed use as opposed to big box?
Well, mixed use, in the CD 4.1, it permits warehousing, retail, some light industrial. The subject site, as you know, butts up against the city's industrial park where the services go right to the site. So on the 200 acres, it can accommodate a variety of uses. The only thing that it really cannot accommodate is residential use.
So what would you envision on this property? How many big box stores would you be talking about?
It's really hard to say, Councillor Halberstadt. We just don't know at this point in time.
Could it be half a dozen? Or?
Mr. Salzer, can I ask a question? Sorry, point of clarification, if I may. Unless I missed something in the discussion, has there been a determination made that it will be built big box?
No, we have had inquiries.
Okay, but there's no. I just want to make sure that I'm clear. There's no determination.
There's no determination.
Councilor
At this
Halberstadt, on that point of
time.
clarification.
Yeah, that would be, I guess, certainly this would allow big box, there's no doubt about it, and I think the report says that the marketing has changed to big box retail, but I have my questions of administration.
Thank you, Councilor.